Good evening, you're watching TDM Talk Show. In celebration of Women's History Month and a post-celebration of International Women's Day held on March 8th, we have invited a special guest to talk about the remarkable women who give their time and effort to support various charities in Macau. She's a native of South Dakota who has spent most of her career in performing arts. She and her husband moved to Macau 4 years ago. From then on, she became active in charity and social events in the city. Let's welcome the president of the International Ladies Club of Macau, Rebecca Glade. Welcome to TDM Talk Show, Rebecca.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yes. So first of all, kindly introduce yourself. You've been here for 4 years. How did you become the president of the International Ladies Club?
I was actually really lucky that when I first moved to Macau, I did a Google search on what I was going to do with my days in Macau because I was not going to be working. So I searched what to do and I stumbled upon the International Ladies Club. So I moved here having the knowledge that it existed. Right. And I was able to meet some of the members right away, and they were able to help make my transition to life in Macau much easier, showing me the ropes, where to buy things, introducing me to different people and some of our social and charity organizations.
Right, and let's talk about the club itself. Could you tell us more about it? What's the history and what's the goal of the club?
The Ladies Club has been around since 1982. It was originated by a group of women that wanted to come together from all different backgrounds in order to form a social and charity club that would have the social aspects to keep themselves busy, but still have the charity organizations that they would support. So at first, the first charity that they supported was they bought books for a library.
Right.
And then they helped to raise funds in order to help abandoned babies. And as the years have progressed, we have done more and more things, and now we support 18 different charities around Macau.
18 different charities. And how many members you have so far?
Yeah, so it varies. Sometimes our numbers are quite low, sometimes they're quite high. Right now we have just over 100 members.
Wow.
Yeah.
100 members, and most of them are spouses of the expats.
Many, yes. And the interesting thing is, as the time has changed, the dynamic in the household has changed as well. So sometimes the stay-at-home spouse is not the wife. Sometimes it's the man. So we do have some men that are full members of our organization.
Oh, wow. Yes. Wow. How many men are there now?
There are a few.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting, because I remember I was just talking to one of my editors, and she said, oh, could you ask her, how about the men? So now you do have it.
Yes, we do. And we have recently changed in the last couple of years. We've changed so all men are able to have full voting rights as women in our organization. So.
In your organization. So what do you guys usually do? So you told me that on a normal basis, you just keep yourself busy for the past years.
Yes.
How do you usually do it?
So with the Ladies Club, we are a social organization and a charity organization. So we have different social events throughout the month. We have a book club, we have a cooking club, we have a tennis group that meets, we have mahjong that meets every week, we have drinks after work and coffee chat. So we have lots of different social events for different personalities and preferences. Some people like to attend all of the events. Some people just do one event, or they just come to our big charity events like our Melbourne Cup in the fall, and our big one is coming up in the spring. And May 11th, we're having our charity ball, which is when we raise all of our funds, or most of our funds, for all of our charities.
Could you tell us more about it?
Yes.
For the May 11th event?
Yeah, so May 11th, we're having our event, and the theme is, oh, they're going to be mad at me that I'm not going to remember the full name of it, but it's a Spanish theme, and it's going to be beautiful. I'm very excited. Yes.
Florally.
Yeah, so I think there's going to be some tango maybe involved, and lots of beautiful flowers.
Wow, it's very, very exciting. And you just mentioned about the 18 charities that you help, and some of the charities are the Caritas, the Good Shepherd Center. How do you help these charities? Do you have like a specific limit in terms of funds, or?
So we actually have, as a community or as a charity, we have an extra group called our Community Services Group that meets once a month, and each person in the charities community services group, they go to all of our charities to see what the needs are at the charities. So every month they go to visit the charities to see what they need. Maybe one of the orphanages needs diapers or vitamins. Maybe the drug rehab center needs help fixing something or painting something. And we are able to see what those needs are every month and see how we can support them.
And a lot of hard work, I believe, especially for the coordinator.
Well, for all of our volunteers, the ILCM is run strictly by voluntary basis. Nobody's paid to be part of our organization. We all are just donating our time.
How do you become a volunteer a member?
You can reach out to us. So we have our Facebook page, ILCM, International Ladies Club of Macau. We also have a website, ilcm.org.mo.
Right, and you really need to be passionate about it. And there's no restriction, anyone can join.
Yes.
Right, even men can join the International Ladies Club of Macau.
Yes.
So leading on, since it's International Women's Day last March 8th, what does International Women's Day mean to you? Especially you're from America.
I think International Women's Day is a day that we can reflect on progress made. It's a chance for us to call for change for the future and a way for us to celebrate all of the courageous and determined women, ordinary women, who have played an extraordinary role in their countries' and communities' history.
Yes, because it started early 1900s. It started with this garment workers and they protested for a fair wage, shorter working hours, and then from then on the United Nations already recognized it. So, okay, I'll let you go on with that.
Yeah. So it's just a way for us to celebrate all of these amazing women around the world who have come together to make the world what we have today.
Right, and did you have, how was the transition coming from a different culture, from America to Macau, and being a woman here? Did you have a hard time in terms of transition?
I think it was interesting because I had done very little travel before coming to Macau. I had not left North America. I grew up in a very small community on farm in the middle of nowhere. And so just that transition, no matter what, was a challenge. But I found it really exciting to be able to meet so many interesting people from around the world with such different cultural and different backgrounds. And
is there a gender inequality within Macau society, you think?
I think that's a really hard question.
It is a very hard question.
I think more importantly, I think there's a gender inequality globally that we need to talk about. That this is not just a local problem happening in one country or community. This is something that's happening in every culture and in every country around the world. And this isn't something that's going to be an easy fix for one person or group or country to fix. It's something that has taken years and generations to have happened. And so it's going to take generations to overcome.
During your 4 years of stay here in Macau, can you cite some remarkable women that you've met here in Macau and their contribution, like just the members of the International Ladies Club?
Yes. I'm so fortunate with the ILCM to have met some amazing women in Macau. One that's at the very top of my list is Sister Juliana with the Good Shepherd Sisters. She is just one of the most interesting people I've ever met. And she has donated her life to helping the Good Shepherds of Macau. So her organization, or the organization of Good Shepherd Sisters, they help domestic violence and human trafficking, which is happening everywhere, all around the world.
Yes, and her dedication to her work. She's not, I mean, she kept on saying that this is passion and she just wants to help a lot of people, especially women. And I think that's very remarkable. What does feminism mean to you?
Feminism is the advocacy for equal rights for men and women, for gender equality. I think feminism often gets a negative connotation.
Always.
Yes,
Always.
people hear the word feminism and they automatically think the extreme.
Yes.
Yes, I think it's important that we take the word feminism and break it down and show that it doesn't have to be this extremely liberal idea. It doesn't even have to be a word that just describes women. It can be a word to describe men as well. All it does is say that you believe that men and women should have equal rights.
I think it's the negative stigma.
Yeah.
During the early days. And do you think there is a room for improvement?
I think there's always room for improvement. It's something that with generations to overcome, it's something that we're working on one day at a time.
Right. Okay. And what advice would you give women struggling in a male-dominated industry, especially in Macau?
Yeah, I've actually been really fortunate to be part of an organization that empowers women within our community. So it's something that I haven't had to deal with here in Macau or really in much of my life. So I've been really fortunate. But if I were to give advice for women struggling in a male-dominated industry, I would say that it's important to be the best version of yourself, to know what it is that you bring to the table, because you wouldn't be invited to the meeting or the team if somebody didn't see your value.
Yeah,
especially,
your potential.
Yes, especially in a situation where you are the only woman and in the team. You have a different viewpoint. You see things in a different way. So you can bring those things to the table that they may not see.
Because you have a different perspective. Because you're a woman.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And what do you find is most important to working professionals today?
Well, I think it's important for everyone to find a healthy balance, to find that balance between home and work.
Right.
Because often it's easy to blur that line, especially with technology as it is today.
Yes.
You have your phone in the palm of your hand, and you have your work email in the palm of your hand, and you're messaging with WhatsApp and Messenger, and you're able to stay connected so easily.
Right.
But that means you're bringing work home, and you're not able to unplug, and you're not able to have a social life or a home life away from work. So it's important to find that balance that's going to show that you can have it all still. You can have that healthy balance between work and home. And that way you are able to make your professional priorities separate and still have your life goals for yourself.
Do you think priorities are changing nowadays, especially for the modern women?
I think, like I said with technology, I think that's the biggest way that I see priorities changing. I think it's important that we do set those boundaries to be able to have the separate work and home.
I agree with you. And do you think Macau is still lacking in terms of highlighting the accomplishments of women?
That's tricky. It's hard to say because I know very little about how Macau is able to highlight the women. I'm not sure if there's a special award ceremony or something that we do.
But so far,
I hope there is. That would be wonderful.
Yes, but so far.
Yeah, I'm not really sure if there is, but I think it's important that we highlight all of women that help build us to who we are.
Right.
Whether they are people personally or people that we look up to, people like Michelle Obama.
Yes.
People like Madeleine Albright, Hillary Clinton, different people that we look up to and that have helped shape the world that we live in.
Right. I think because I've been attending different events, and there's this it's organized by the Philippine Consulate, and during the Women's Month, they usually acknowledge or recognize the outstanding women in Macau. I mean, Filipinos and even non-Filipinos. So I think it is very important as well for the whole community to recognize women.
Yes.
And their accomplishments.
Yes, I mentioned Sister Juliana but earlier. Another woman that I think has done an amazing job in Macau is Marjorie with Cradle of Hope. She's dedicated her life the past over 20 years to help abandoned babies in Macau and those that they're able to help find homes for, and then those that they're unable to find homes for that grow up in the system, she's able to help nurture them in order for them to become happy, healthy adults ready to enter the community.
And these type of circumstances really do inspire you as well,
Oh,
I
for
believe.
sure.
And how
Yeah.
does it feel, you know, helping these kids, helping those who are victims of abuse personally?
It's really powerful just because I'm not working. So I need to find ways to fill my day. And sure, I could fill my day with watching Netflix or movies.
Binge watch.
Yes, yes. And sure, there are some days that I do watch Netflix.
course.
But it's important for me to do something with the time that I have here in Macau. I don't believe that Macau is going to be a forever home for me. So the chapter that I spend in Macau, I want to be able to do something to help the community.
And I just like to add to that, I think Macau is very, very lucky to have you.
Oh, thank
Especially
you.
the club. I mean, it's no joke for someone to run an international ladies club. And you told me that you've spent most of your time, like whole day, just to cater to those coordination. You have to
I'm
go to
really
different
fortunate to have such a strong group of volunteers that help me. It's not just me that's working every day to make this club happen. There are countless volunteers. We have an executive committee, and we meet monthly in order to come up with our plans, and then our community service team, and then those individual members that aren't part of the committee, but still donate their time and energy to help our organization.
And working with these charities, do you have, or can you tell me one of the most unforgettable moments that you could think of that literally had an impact?
I would say during the typhoon that happened a couple of years ago,
Is it the Hato?
Hato, yes.
Right.
When that hit, and the community, to see the community come together in order to help, that was really powerful, because not just cleaning up the streets, which many did, but also to help the different charities that suddenly were in need of extra food,
Right.
that were in need of, that didn't have electricity and needed food to feed the people that were staying
The
there.
water was really the
Yes.
problem.
Yes, which it was really powerful just to see how quickly and effectively the community could come together in order to help those that were in need.
Wow, that's true. I mean, I was also here during the Typhoon Hato, and you'd see how the people of Macau just come together, and there's like a spirit of camaraderie.
Yes.
But the thing is that it's the aftermath. It's in every tragedy, if I may say, it's always the aftermath. How can you help these people? Sure, anyone can provide water after, say, 3 days, but then aftermath, how can you help these people? How can you help the old women?
Right. Because it wasn't even just the week after that they needed
course.
help. They needed help the 2 months after, 3 months after. They were still needing assistance in different ways. So it was wonderful to be able to be part of the organization that could help in some ways.
Yes.
Even if it was a small way.
Really, this is a proud moment. How can women better enable each other?
Okay, so former U.S. Secretary of State Madeleine Albright once said, "There's a special place in hell for women that don't help each other." And I totally believe that, because it's important that we have each other's backs, that we don't need to bring each other down in order to bring ourselves up, but we need to be each other's cheerleaders and motivators to help shine some light on other people's successes. Because if we're not going to be there for each other, who's going to be there for us?
And how do you think we can apply that here in Macau?
I think just in daily life, you can be somebody's cheerleader, somebody's motivator. If you see somebody walking down the street that looks fantastic today, say, "Wow, your hair looks great." And that one moment may have just been a moment for you, but that's something that affect that woman for the rest of her day. Yes.
Made her day.
Yeah, so that's just one small thing you can do.
That's right. And what are some of the things that we can do today to make lives better for ourselves and for the women coming after us?
I think it starts with how we raise our children, with how we speak to our daughters as they're growing up. We need to instill the fact that they should be taking risks, to not be afraid to take risks, to try something new and don't be afraid to fail. Often little girls grow up thinking they need to be perfect and they need to sit perfect and have the perfect little dress on.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
You
but-
have to be perfect
Yeah.
in everything,
No, but I think
everything that you do.
it's important that they learn that they can be messy because life is messy. And it's important that they see that they can take risks even if they're going to fail, because it's from failure that we learn. Equally, I think it's important that we teach our little boys that they need to look at girls as equals.
Yes.
To see them and to respect them. And it's from this generation that we're going to see change in the
Right.
future for equality for women.
And you're expecting.
I am.
So-
Yes, so hopefully I'll be able to teach in my little one as well.
For sure, for sure. You're amazing. For the last question, what is one piece of advice to all women who are juggling between home and work?
So this question is extra interesting because it's a question that is hardly ever asked to men. A man is never interviewed and asked, how do you juggle your home life and your work life?
Right.
They're never asked how they're able to differentiate,
Right.
whereas women are constantly asked this question. I would say, though, that it's important to find a community, to find a support system that's going to be there for you, whether it's a friend or a family member that you have their support, whether it be for physical activities,
Right.
things to make your life easier, running errands, picking the kids up, helping make dinner, those small tasks, or if it's more of an emotional support
Emotional.
system. Yes, because it's important to have mental support as well, especially in today's day. So just somebody that you're able to check in with emotionally. So make sure that everybody's okay and healthy.
All right. Thank you so much. That is very, very helpful. And we're really happy and lucky to have you here in our show. I hope this
Thank
is not
you.
the last time.
I hope I come back. That would
For
be
sure.
wonderful.
And congratulations.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you so much. Join us again on Thursday for another episode of TDM Talk Show. I'm your host, Karen Keith. Good night.